Hey, Jeff Justice here with Jeff Justice Seminars for Court Reporters. I want to thank you so much for deciding to choose us to get your online CEUs with. We promise not to disappoint you. We provide laugh-packed, content-rich seminars so that you can get your CEUs from the comfort of your own home or office. So basically, you're going to watch the videos. As you do, print out the PDFs for the quizzes, answer the questions as you go along. At the end of the whole seminar, so if you're taking a 10-hour seminar after you finish all the sections, email me all of your answers. I will grade them and get you back your letter of completion for your state, and if you're an RPR, the proper forms for NCRA. So get ready to laugh and learn with Jeff Justice Seminars for Court Reporters. So did you have a great time so far?
Oh, yes.
And you learn things that you actually can take back and put into your lives?
Yes.
Well, good. That's the whole purpose of these, is make you a better court reporter, but more importantly, to help you improve your life. So I always love to say, we're not put on this earth to make a living. We're put here to create a life. Right? And so many times we forget that along the way, and really thinking about yourself once in a while, and thinking about the wonderful things that do happen in your life instead of focusing on the negative sometimes. So we tend to sometimes focus too much on the negative.
Yes.
We do. I mean, how many times do you find yourself going, oh man, it's Monday, all right, I got to open the trials, and man, it's been great. As opposed to Monday again, help me. So, what I'd like you to do for a few minutes here is just turn to somebody, and maybe find somebody you haven't got a chance to talk to yet, and just tell them one thing good that's going on in your life. It could be something that happened today, it could be something that happened to your family, your kids, your friends, and you. If you can't find anything, maybe you just get a good parking spot today. You have to go that low in the barrel to find something. I didn't choke on the cookie. All right, so here, go ahead. All right, everybody get a chance? Okay, clap once if you can hear my voice. Clap twice if you can hear my voice. Clap 3 times if you can hear my voice. What a great way to get people to pay attention. This is a fun way you can get people to listen to you if you're about to give a presentation and you're trying to get everybody back to the room again. Wait, so who heard something good? What did you hear?
That her son almost got straight A's, or he's on the verge of straight A's in college.
Wow. Your son got straight A's in college?
He's on the verge. Which is good. He wants to
Awesome.
That's great.
So he got his first day?
No. What's that? No, he wants to get A's.
Oh, he wants to get A's? That's awesome. You just don't talk about your kids, shut up. Well, that's great. And isn't that a huge change when all of a sudden the kids go, wait a second, I want to do that. My oldest daughter, I think she might be at that place with money now.
Uh-oh.
Any of your kids have problems with money? I have one kid that has the first dime she ever made, another one doesn't have the last dime she ever made. That's right, it was a great story, but I found a wallet in the house one day, and I looked at my youngest daughter, the saver, and I said, whose wallet is this? She goes, well, why don't you just look in the money department? I said, well, what's that going to tell me? She goes, well, if there's cash in there, it's mine. If it's receipts, it's Jenica's. I'm going, well, that's really close to the truth. But actually, my daughter finally got to the point where we kind of brought her to she moved back into the house trying to save some money, and didn't have to pay rent for 3 months, and her rent before was like $600 a month with some girls. So after 3 months, my wife finally turned around to her and said, because she wants to move to Denver to get a new job up there, and says, well, you've been here for 3 months. At this point, you should have $1,800 saved, and you actually owe more money than when you got here. And all of a sudden, you could see these little lights turning on, going, oh yeah. And that day, she paid off a credit card. She paid down $100 on another one, and all of a sudden realized she's got to do these things if she wants to get control of life. Who else heard something good? Yes.
She's celebrating 23 years married.
That's awesome.
23 years married? Wow. And they said it wouldn't last. I had one guy said, I've been married for 35 years. I go, really? He goes, well, not in a row. congratulations to you. Who else heard something good?
We're gonna pass the
Yes.
CRR.
We are.
We're gonna pass the CRR.
That's right.
Yes.
You're going to pass the CRR?
Yes, we
Yes,
are.
all right, way to go. You're going to work together to accomplish that, or you're just going to keep, you know?
We could.
Yes, we sure could.
Well, you know what? It's great to have a buddy to hold you to your
Accountable,
goals.
that's right.
You know, to check in with somebody else, and that's one of those things that they've recorded that this makes a huge difference, whether you're trying to do anything, whatever you're trying to accomplish, a goal. If you have a buddy that you got to report into, how's it coming? Well, you know, I was going to do this, yeah. It's
Okay.
like, I teach stand-up comedy in Atlanta. And those people in a 6-week course have to go from never writing a joke before, just being funny with their friends, and some of them never being funny. Really, I had one guy who's like the straightest person I've ever met in my life, and his wife came to the graduation. She said, "Boy, I can't wait to see this, because I've been married for 17 years. I never once heard him say something funny." And he was hysterical because we got him to laugh at himself, poke fun at himself. But I have to constantly stay on these people at night. We just don't take any excuse. Well, I've had a really busy week. And I go, oh, you had a busy week. You couldn't write one joke? Oh, my God. Okay, so I use sarcasm sometimes with that. Which I found is not a good tool for raising 2 teenage daughters. That's strange. Who else? Back here. What'd you hear?
She's got a 1-year-old niece that just had a birthday, is that right?
She said her first word.
Oh, she said her first word.
Okay, you just had your...
Said her first word.
She said her first words?
Yeah.
And I bet they weren't mommy. There, see? It's always that, isn't it? You spend 22 hours a day with the kid and their first word, Dada. Was the one that Bill Cosby used to talk about by training his son, playing football with him every day, doing everything. He finally makes a touchdown. He's in front of the camera and going, "Love you, Mom." Yeah. So it does happen both ways. That would, yeah. They used to drive my wife crazy because when our first daughter was born, I was on the road a lot as a comedian and corporate speaker and just not home a lot. But it seemed like every time I was home and I was with her alone, she did her first. Took her first step, stood up the first time. She's going, how is this happening? So it can be frustrating. How about over here? Who heard something great?
Sandy's going to be grandma.
Who's going to be grandma? No way! Got married at what, 9, 10? Good to be in the South. Worked out great. Your first one, huh?
Well, actually, I have a 2-year-old grandson, and she's my daughter's pregnant.
Wow.
Oh, again? So number 2 coming up. Great, I just went to see one of my buddies my age, 9 grandchildren. Wow. Us, none. Thank you, God. One's only 18. Other one's 26, so. That's why I'm trying to stay in good shape, because I think my kids will be having kids later on in life. So I don't want to be, you know, grandpa where they go, don't give the kid to grandpa or drop her. So I think I'm going to get that later on. Who else? You heard something? Anybody else here? So I didn't hear something good? Oh, hit that.
Her son is in pharmacy school to be a pharmacist in Houston. That's pretty cool.
Congratulations! He's in pharmacy school to be a pharmacist in Houston, so now we all have a connection. I mean, like for nasal spray. Well, that's great. But I got to tell you, you know, the wild thing is the looks on your faces before we did that exercise and afterwards.
Huh.
Yeah, because you're all kind of sitting here like this and stuff, and after you finish talking to each other and talking about something great, the whole energy in the room changed, your faces changed, you were smiling, you shared something great. How often do we do that? I mean, really, so many times we talk about the negative things that happen to us, and we don't take time to just talk about the positive. And like I say, it doesn't have to be bragging. It can just, like Facebook is that. Don't they say Facebook is like so annoying because the people bragging about, you know, what their kids did or whatever, or what they have, you don't have, or the fantastic vacation they're on that you're sitting at home marketing or something. Stay on Facebook. I'm actually one of those people who say, turn off the news. I don't hardly ever listen to the news at all. I read one little thing in the morning, and that's about it. And I figure if something really bad happens, people will tell me about it.
So depressing.
It is. It's never ever good. It's never like going, yippee! Guess what happened today?
No, it's yippee, it didn't happen to me.
So, no news is great news, I guess. So, when my mother-in-law was alive, that's what I depended on. I knew something bad happened. Even in Atlanta, she would know about it and would call me to say, did you hear about that? No, I don't want to hear about that. Okay. So, and I don't try to stay ignorant about things, but still just listening. Because I know people that walk. I mean, they walk in the house, they turn on CNN or they turn on Fox, and that's it. It's on there all the time, and all you hear is death, dying, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, what's gonna die? I mean, Ebola now. I mean, like you're in Atlanta and you listen to the news people. It's going, if you talk on the phone with somebody from Dallas, you'll die. I'm not saying that's true, but it could be possible. So, and they have to sell news, and they have to get people to watch, so they sensationalize things. So you don't turn off the TV. But I say, do it. Look at those positive things in your life. So think about that from now on. When you get home, you're with family. I used to always ask my kids, what great thing happened today? And my oldest daughter was always the same thing. Nothing. Nothing happened? No, nothing. You went to school for 8 hours, nothing happened. Did you ask the younger one, what happened to you today? Well, I have a list here. Here's a short one of those. There's different personalities, right?
Yes.
That's what makes life interesting, and there's different personalities. I think we run into a problem with is when we try to get people to change who they are, because they're not like we want them to be. That's where so much of our stress comes from. My older brother, he was not like the rest of us. We have 5 kids in the family, and we're all kind of touchy-feely, hey, how's it going, calling for birthdays, love you, all that. And we all fought like cats and dogs as kids, but as we got older, we realized how stupid that was, and we all became great friends. But Jim was always standoffish. Like you'd call him up, hey Jim, how's it going? Okay. Yeah, whenever my daughter gets it from her. But that was it, you'd have to talk to him for a while to finally get him to talk to someone, get him to talk about himself, and everything was just like, 1, 2, 3 word sentences and stuff, and just, hey, you gonna come to family reunion? Yeah, I'm kind of busy, stuff. And it was so weird. There was actually a turning point, where you have those epiphany things that happen? Well, one day I got off the phone with him, and I was upset because, again, he wasn't behaving like I wanted him to behave. Because I figured out what the perfect behavior should be. I'm that good. And I finally realized, what right do I have to make him be who he isn't? I mean, that's who he is. And I either accept him for that, love him, he's my brother, and that's it, and I'm okay with that, or I don't. And I just said, I just accept it, that's who he is. I swear, starting the next day, he changed. It was so weird. All of a sudden, we're getting YouTube videos of kittens playing and fighting from them, and puppies. Oh, look at these cute animals, ain't they adorable? And he'd send things, love Jimmy, and it was just phenomenal. And I'm going to do we really have that power as people? Once we let it go and let go of it. And how many times do you hear of somebody that's looking for the perfect mate, and they're just looking and looking, they can't find anybody, and they finally go, forget it. And like next week they meet somebody.
Yeah.
Or the people that are trying to get pregnant. Right? They try. But just fun part. But nothing happens, and then they go, forget it, we're never going to have kids. They adopt a kid, and 4 months later, she's pregnant. You know 2 people like that, you said?
I know at least 2 families that adopted and then got pregnant.
Isn't that wild? Stress is gone. Isn't it amazing that stress can do that kind of stuff?
Wow.
Stress to me is one of the weirdest things on the planet. Because you know why? We do it to ourselves. Remember what I was talking about earlier today? About, my daughter saying, the girl got her mad. And well, no, you let her get mad. She always did what she always does, but you decided to get mad about it. And that's just it. We do have that ability to control our thoughts. And if you think about stress, if you ever had this situation happen, you thought somebody did something to you. Maybe you thought somebody stole something from you, all right? Or did you wrong or said something about you, and you just get furious about it. And you get so mad, your heartbeat goes up, you might even start, getting shoulder pain, stomach pain, whatever. And then you find out you were wrong.
Yes.
Oh, they didn't steal it, there it is. Gee, guess I was wrong. Well, did all that pain and all that stress go away? Well, you still experienced it, and it was for nothing.
For nothing.
You know, I think the Indians have a word called Maya, the illusion of life. It's like this illusion. Your mind made up this whole entire thing about it. You physically experienced all the stress from it, all the damage that stress can do to your body, yet it never happened. Isn't that bizarre? And just let it go. Everybody, has some friend that just holds on to anger. Okay, but you might be married to that person, or siblings or whatever. They just won't let it go. It's almost like their life is, that's what their life's about, being angry, being upset about stuff. I got a friend of mine, Robert. Nicest guy you ever want to meet till you put him behind the wheel of a car. He gets nuts. He's like, you don't come in his way, you don't cut it off. But I was in a car with him. He got a ticket in Atlanta 10 years ago that he didn't think he deserved. And I'm telling you, to this day, we'll drive by that spot. He's like, that's what happened. That's it. Robert, let it go. It's just crazy, that stress eats us up every single time. Why would you invite that back into your life again? Right? And one of the great things you can use there is your internal sense of humor. And the great thing about your internal sense of humor, you don't have to make anybody else laugh but yourself. That's all for you. You can just play little games inside your head. I mean, you ever come back after a really bizarre day, court reporting, taking down, transcriptions of just, really crazy stuff, and just go, thank God I'm not those people. Right? Suddenly my family's not looking so bad. It is. You can see stressful situations as sitcoms. How would the Simpsons handle this? How would Seinfeld handle this? What would Bill Cosby say about this? And you can just play this stuff in your head. Somebody standing there giving you a hard time, just look at them, just imagine them standing there in their underwear, or shorts and knee-high socks, standing there yelling at you, And it's just inside your head. I mean, sometimes you got to use that, right? Because there's stressful things that happen all the time. I had a woman who worked at the Holiday Inn, and she worked the night shift. And she found out that I did programs on humor and stress. She goes, oh, I use that all the time. I said, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, I work the night shift. I get all the crazies down here. Nothing's ever right for the people overnight. Everything's always going wrong. And they come down and complain to me. And usually when they come down here, they're really mad. And they'd be like yelling, screaming at me, and angry. And I just sit there and just go, oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that is so bad. I can take that taken care of right away. I can't believe that happened to you. Because what her philosophy is to treat them like they just left a mental institution. Because they're already acting crazy, right? But she said if somebody just left a mental institution, you wouldn't try to aggravate them more, agitate them more, you'd try to calm them down. And she says eventually the person winds up calming down. Why? Because when people are angry, what do they want? They want a wall to bounce that anger off of, so it escalates and they can win a fight, or they can prove that they're right, or they can get in the last word. And if you don't give that to them, you're just, oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry. I can't believe, that is horrible. I'm taking care of that for you, okay? She said they wind up winding down, and not only do they wind up apologizing to her, but they wind up telling her boss, her manager, what a great job she did. So I use that all the time. I'll be driving in traffic, some jerk who cut me off. I'm going, boy, he must be late to the mental institution. Because I've done it the other way. I mean, one night when I was a comedian in New York, my sister came to see a show. We're going home by 2 o'clock in the morning, going down the highway, and this idiot's behind me with his brights on. Okay? And I mean, I'm flashing mine, turning mine off, and he just still has his brights on. Finally, he gets in front of me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to show him. I crawl up his butt, turn my brights on, okay? And next thing I know, and it could have been an accident or whatever, something pops up and cracks my windshield.
Oh, wow.
So here, it could have been bigger, it could have broke the windshield, we could have been in an accident, we could have been killed. As it was, quite a few $100s worth of damage. Why? Because my ego got in the way and said, well, I'll show them. They can do it to me, I can do it to them, instead of just let them get back to the mental institution. I don't like crazy people behind me. I'd rather have them in front of me where I can see what they're doing. Okay? I can still avoid them. Just go on, get past me. People cut me off now. Go on, it's your road, please. And at work, same thing, you know. People cut me in lines and stuff. It used to be like, sit back down. Don't they know there's no cutsies? And I worked myself up in this thing, and, you know, I realize in traffic I do it all the time, too. You know, when you're driving down the road, you're waiting on the exit to get off, and at the last second, that jerk cuts in. That's me. Not all the time, but it has been, okay? And, you know, we tend to forget those stupid things we've done and just remember everything that everybody's done to us. Well, actually, to reduce stress, it should be the other way around. Forget every bad thing anybody's done to you, and just remember the good things people have done, and forget the good things that you've done for other people. I was actually reading a report that said, when you do a favor for somebody, the closer it is to the time that you did the favor to them, the more important it is to them, and the less important it is to you. But the further you get away from the time you did that favor for them, the less important it is to them, and the more important it is to you.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that? Right? You know, what do we do? We do a favor for somebody and go, oh, thank you, that was wonderful. What do you say? You're welcome. No, that was nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, I never done even bother. Can I pay you for that? No, please, don't.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, right? And then it's like 6 months, 8 months later, you want them to do something. Oh, I'm kind of busy. Well, I wasn't too busy to help you, was I? Apparently, I was able to find the time. What are you talking about? Don't you remember when I helped you? Not really. So just remember that phenomenon. It's like, you know, when you get upset because somebody didn't reciprocate a long time later, you should ask them for that help as soon as you did it. Oh, that was wonderful. Can I do anything for you? Yes, you can. I need the transmission rebuilt. Take advantage of that while you can, okay? So, you know, we talk all the time about things that cause us stress and stuff. And as court reporters, you know, there's some of your stress that's very unique to your profession. You know, it just doesn't happen to other people. Especially having to listen to negative people all day long. Don't you wish just one time somebody would say, like you would say, my husband and I have been married for 23 years, and we love each other, and we just wanted a court reporter to take down how we feel about each other. Did we hire you to do that? It never happens, does it? Wouldn't that be great? It'd be wonderful. A great service. Let us take down the joys in your life for you. So do me a favor, everybody stand up. Right, so right now, find somebody you don't know, or you haven't got a chance to talk to today, and we know who you know. So go ahead and do that. Partner up with somebody.
How are you?
Right, at this point, raise your hand if you do not have a partner. Right, so why don't you, why don't you go over here in the black? One of you two. There you go.
Okay.
Two over you. You want to go over with one of these? These folks? Okay. Anybody not have a partner? Right there. Why don't you get with her right there? Right behind you here. So raise your hand if you don't have a partner. Not if you don't like your partner, just if you don't have one. Could I trade her in for somebody else?
If you don't.
Right, do me a favor quickly. Decide between yourselves who's going to be A and who's going to be B.
B. A. Gotcha.
Whatever you
Guys, want to know something about personality type? The type A personality just told the other person what they're going to do. Okay, so face each other.
Okay.
Right, take your right hand, place it flat against the other person's outstretched right hand, just like that.
Okay.
Okay, now I promise for the guys in the room, this is only touchy-feely thing, we'll make it good. When I say go, without throwing your partner to the ground, and when A, you push against B. Ready? Go. Okay, just take, push against your partner, shake hands, take your seats. Okay, go ahead, stop, thank your partner, shake hands, take your seats. She's going, what the heck was that all about? Just trying to kill some time, that's all. All right, let me ask you, A, when you push against B, what did B do?
Push back.
Push back. A, you push back, what did A do?
Push back.
Push harder.
Yeah.
Then B push harder still? You ever see that happen in the real world?
Oh, yeah.
Two people get together, they're supposed to be working things out. How many people wouldn't even be in front of you at your job if their egos would get out of the way? Right? But, oh, I want that chair. I need to have that chair. You know, I don't want him to have it. I'm going to take it out and burn it, but I don't want him to have it. But then you watch things escalate way beyond control. Then I saw something else that happened in a few other places where A pushed against B and B didn't resist. Just let the hand go back. And what happened? A stopped pushing.
Stop pushing.
Right? You know, it's no fun, you know. And that's what humor does. It stops that needless escalation. So go back now and find the person that you pushed hands with. Back up with them now.
We're going back again. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, watch yourself, baby. Sorry.
That was so graceful.
I'm trying not to. But she recovered very nicely.
Back to the same.
Oh, come on up here, partner.
Okay, so quickly, between yourselves, between the two of you, just come up with 3 things that cause court reporter stress.
Only want 3?
We don't have enough time today for all of them. All right, if you haven't come up with 3 by now, then you're not a court reporter. Okay? So raise your hand. What's one of them that you came up with? Lawyers. Lawyers cause you stress. Now, isn't that fascinating? That the only reason why you have a job is lawyers, and they cause you stress. It's like, who caused me stress? My wife. Oh, you wouldn't be married without her. But they are. It is a stressful situation because they don't pay. They treat you like inanimate objects. You know, what are some other things that lawyers do to cause you stress? Time, right? You're not in charge of your own time. I had one court reporter said they had to go to the bathroom, and she did the international sign for stopping. The lawyer said, "What's the problem?" She said, "I have to take a break." They said, "Well, we're not finished."
Wow.
She goes, "Oh, well, you can keep going, but I need to take a break." Take a break. You raise your hand in the back.
Yeah, it seems like turnaround time expectations are getting shorter and shorter.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
What gets shorter and shorter?
Turnaround time.
Turnaround time.
Yes.
People want it yesterday now.
Yeah. And I don't want
We'd like to get that transcript in before the trial starts. Okay?
It's right there on your computer.
And you don't get to charge extra for that, do you?
Oh, man.
Wait, everybody, we can't hear her in the back. Hello?
Hello.
We can't hear her in the back. Yes?
What would normally be considered an expedite, you know, in the past, it seems like it's just hedging. It's just hedging closer.
A little closer.
So what used to be an expedite, there eventually would just be normal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like it used to be like 10 days was standard, and now firms wanted 8 days, some wanted
7,
days.
yeah. 5.
Well, you know why? Because there's court reporters that are giving them that quick and not charging them. Because we're worried we want working things, we want to have the business. So that's something that's got to be like a personal stand. You know, there's got to be a point. It's like down in Georgia, we talked to court reporters about you ever have one up coming back from vacation, you know, for a transcript, and boy, the hands would go up. Go up to New Jersey, you go, ask the same question, you go, what are you kidding me? I'm on vacation. Yeah, I'm not coming back for that. What are some of the things that cause you stress?
Accents, heavy accents, right?
Heavy accents.
Yes, yes. Thanks.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Business.
It's awful.
Well, I tell you what. All right, so let's be quiet so we can hear what they have to say here. I was with Pam outside, and she was working on a transcript before she came on. And she showed me 3 Nigerian names.
Wow.
That I'm going, how many syllables are in that name? I was like, and she said, I said, how did you figure out how to spell this? She goes, I didn't. I just wound up telling the person, just spell everything you're saying.
Wow.
I mean, every single name had at least 10 letters in it.
Oh,
And, you know, just like somebody just took consonants in this one. Boom, just threw them in there randomly. Or like Indian accents. I have a lot of friends that are Indian.
And they speak very fast.
yes.
Well, not only do they speak fast, but they break their words in different places, or they put accents on different words, like phone numbers. Like my friend Nagesh. If I give you my phone number, it's like, hey, it's 404-262-7406. And he's like, photo, 42627. Your brain Well, I get stressed out when I call customer service, and you know you're getting somebody in India, right? And they're pretending like they're, you know, American. Hello, this is Ricky Bobby. No, it's not. Oh, yeah. And when I was thinking, I was wondering if people in India, you know, they're going to have to call customer service and stuff. You think when they call, they get somebody in like Alabama going, this here Sanjay is too. So, you know, and it's part of the job too, right? Do anybody have stress solutions for heavy accents?
No.
I am listening.
Recording.
Recording.
And I've had some people ask the lawyer what they said.
Yeah.
But they asked us to read it back. Like, they didn't get it, but we're supposed to. Oh, okay.
I didn't have my glasses today. Could you read that? Ask them to repeat it, but like I say, with the thing with Pam, there was no way to get those names with that person's spelling. Just, they were impossible.
Wow.
It'd be like, you know, trying to get a Chinese name. You know, don't speak the language, you can't do it. Yes?
I usually ask the attorneys before the witness comes on, if you have a witness with a big accent, repeat their answers.
Oh, that's
Whatever
nice.
they say, oh, so you went so and so, and I'm like, that's what he said.
Right, so that's a great idea. So
Yeah.
she gets somebody with a thick accent, you know, she tells the attorney beforehand, if the person has a thick accent, will you please repeat what they said?
What they're saying.
Or
Yeah.
get them to repeat.
And you're getting
right?
more pages that way, too.
But you know, that's a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
Focus, people. That's a great idea, because what she's doing is she's stopping the problem before it even starts. Right? And she's also putting it in the lawyer's court.
That's right.
So that she didn't have to deal with it. So I think that's a great suggestion. You know, that before. Anybody else have something that causes some stress?
DNA experts.
Excuse me?
DNA experts. Experts.
DNA expert.
Oh, DNA expert?
DNA.
Or DNA? Is it like stressful because they're going, like, see the difference between this dot here and that one there? That's it, they're the killer. Right there. So is it just because of the words that they use, or? Because they're words you... Yeah, because it would never ever come up in a normal conversation.
And Chinese DNA expert.
Oh, Chinese DNA expert, okay. That's just a witness from hell, isn't it? That's never going to be a good day. Anything else?
Could be everything, or talking over each other.
Talking over each other, right?
Yes, yes.
And you tell them, I'm trying to get the best record that I can, and the only way that I can do that is by...
I can't wait till Monday. I'm going to do it.
But you don't realize, whoever's talking the loudest, that's the only one I'm
There you go. She says, who's ever talking? And now they both are yelling, right? Now it's like watching one of those news programs on TV. That can't be good. But what's wild, if you really think about it, when you really describe what causes you stress is being a court reporter. Those are all in the job description, right?
Yes.
You got to deal with jerks that are lawyers, and you got to try to write down what people saying that you can't understand, and you know you're not in charge of your own time, and you know you can't take breaks when you want. But that's the job description.
That's the nature.
So that again comes under that heading of take care of the things that you can control and the things you can't. That's just part of theirs. It's like a cop going, I can't believe this job today. They want me to chase criminals and arrest people. You're a cop, aren't you? Yeah, but that's stressful. You could be an accountant. That would be less stressful. You know, give yourselves a good round. Take a seat.
Oh my God. Oh man.
But, you know, every job has things like that. You know, people work for corporate America. Man, bosses stress me out. Customers stress me out. Boy, having a cold call people, that is the worst. And that's part of the job. If you are a professional speaker, part of the job is cold calling clients. Finding people that had meetings last year and calling up somebody who's never talked to you before in your life, and sometimes how trying to convince them not only to listen to you and talk to you, but maybe to possibly hire you. And I would say 95% of speakers hate that. Like, well, maybe you want to find another job. It's just amazing how people get into jobs and these things that they really don't like to do. So these are all these type of things where you can use your internal sense of humor. Yeah, just finding ways to laugh inside about what's going on. I try to use humor all the time in situations. It's like gas prices are finally coming down. What's gas here now for record?
$2.80.
That's disgusting. Matter of fact, when we were in Houston last month, we're driving around, and Carrie and I, she's from Chicago and I'm from Atlanta, we're still in the mid-threes and stuff. Wow. Look at that, $2.92. Oh my God. Like we're going to buy some gas here, put it in a suitcase, and stick it back home. Look at that gas. $2.98. But I mean, this past summer, we were hitting $4 a gallon again in the area that I live in Atlanta.
Wow.
And you know, you can stress out about it, or you can have, you know, sense of humor about it. Like I was at the gas station one time, a guy in front of me goes up to the register and says, let me have $1 on pump 7. You know me, I can't keep my mouth shut. I said, $1 on pump 7? And where you going? Pump 8? You're not going to make it, pal. You know, when we mess up, when she tripped over here, she looked so embarrassed. Oh my God, I tripped it like nobody's ever tripped before. I love when I mess up because I start telling my wife about it. We want to find the humor in it. And the great thing is, once you start finding the humor in it, that's when you start laughing, and it winds up reducing your stress. Like how many times have you planned that perfect vacation?
No, Lord.
Right? You got this is going to be the greatest vacation ever, man. Like, I can't wait to get on Carnival Cruise Line. The food's great. A week later. But what happens? 6 months later, a year later, you're telling somebody about it. What are you doing? You're laughing. My theory is why wait? Why those things happen, you laugh about it, find ways. Once you start laughing, like Bill Cosby says, once you can laugh at something, you can get over it. Once the laughter starts, the healing can begin. I remember a while back I got a new phone for my business, and it had the little earphone with it. You have those where you can talk, it's got the little microphone. Because I've got a long neck. I keep a phone in my shoulder like this. I've got to go to the chiropractor once a week. So I got my cool little phone, push the button, push it on mute and everything. So I'm talking to people, and I'd be like, most people I'm talking to were like, business leaders, presidents, vice presidents, meeting planners. So, Bob, about that big meeting you got coming up in 6 months, I wanted to talk about a program that I have called. Oh, you got to go? Oh, okay, I'll call you next week. I'll be like, Sally, you got that national meeting coming up. I got a program on humor and stress. It's going. Oh, you decided on somebody else. Oh, okay. Well, maybe next year. Well, after 3 days of this, I call my wife downstairs on her phone, and as I'm talking to her, I had to belch. So I push my mute button, burp, push it back again. I'm laughing a little bit, and it's like, "What's so funny?" I said, "Well, if you have to know, I just burped and you couldn't hear me." She said, "Oh, I heard you." I said, "Well, you heard me because you're right downstairs." She said, "No, I heard you over the phone." I'm thinking, boy, This would be a good time to read that instruction manual. And as it turns out, with this phone, you've got to hold that button down the entire time. Right? For 2-3 days, I've been clearing my throat, belching, these meetings. They're going, oh, you know, it's kind of funny, but boy, what a pig. But what happened with that story, I was telling my, at first I was kind of like, oh, I can't believe I did that. And I was telling my travel agent about it, who I was friends with, and I noticed her laughing in different places. And I'm going, oh, well, maybe this is actually something funny. And shared it with people, and she started laughing, I started laughing. Yeah, so now it's actually become a story that I do. But and I tell it all the time, because, you know, it reduces the stress. I'm getting older now. I'm like 63 this year, so you know, the older you get, the more crazy things happen. But you got to laugh at it. They say if you don't just laugh at yourself as you get older, people are just going to laugh at you. Like my wife and I have a new game called Why Am I in This Room? Oh yeah. Oh my God, where are my glasses? Oh, there we go. Oh, you ever had this one, John? Wait a second, I gotta find my cell phone. And you know, as you get older, you know, you get a little more irritated, you know. Temper, you know, it's a little shorter. I guess the worst thing is when I really get annoyed, I wind up saying that 4-letter word that just really drives people crazy. Another one, what? Because my hearing's starting to go. What? And my wife, I say something, I go, what? What'd you say? And then she'll repeat it. I'm like, what? She says, you know. I go, no, what? She goes, you're losing it. I'm like, losing what? It's like, oh, forget it. I'm like, forget what? Now we're both mad at each other, we don't know over what. That's scary, just to laugh at yourself. Like, think you know you're getting older when you're hearing yourself say things like, Kmart has nice shoes. Sensible price, too. Well, I think age sneaks up on men quicker than women. Like I was out at the mall, I'm looking around thinking to myself, boy, we were all these beautiful young women when I went to school, huh? Then it hit, you know, daycare. You know? Like I say, you can go through these things in life and you can laugh at them. They're going to happen to you, find the humor in them, or you can let everything affect you and everything drag you down. Everything causes you stress. Because when you're trying to live a perfect life, it is going to be a stressful life. As opposed to just having fun. Great example, I had a young guy in my comedy class. And he just wanted to be perfect. And I tried to get him relaxed. One of the things we say in the comedy class, it's a conversation, not a presentation. You're up there talking to the audience, not at them. And he would be up there telling his jokes like this, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a disaster when he gets out there. And he walks out on stage, and I'm behind the curtain with people's jokes. You know, in case they forget one, I can give them the joke. And I can tell after about 30 seconds, he does not even know what his first line is. He's forgotten. Because he's out there going, yeah, boy, a lot of folks out here tonight. Boy, bright lights. And finally I come through the curtain, I go, hi, my name's Bob. He goes, oh yeah, hi, my name's Bob. Well, the fact that he forgot his own name, the audience exploded laughing. But the cool thing was, he could no longer be perfect. He'd already messed up the very first thing he had done. He relaxed, gave up the whole idea about being perfect, and he was wonderful. He was himself up there. People just loved him. But I said, just give up that thought of being perfect. Can't be. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, your transcript, just go, let's go somewhere. I think I got about 80% of it. I nailed it this week. You know? But you know what I'm talking about, trying to be a perfectionist in life. I mean, everything isn't going to work the way that you want it to work. You know? Just Let it go. Always love to tell that story about the farmer who's got a donkey, works on his farm. One day, a freak lightning storm comes up, and the donkey gets hit by lightning and dies. And the neighbor comes over and says, boy, that's got to be the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And the farmer said, well, we'll see. Okay. Well, it turned out it wasn't so bad. They all felt so sorry for him, they bought him a younger, stronger donkey. Next day, the neighbor comes over and says, wow, that's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And the farmer says, we'll see. Well, about a week later, the farmer's son is working with the donkey. Donkey kicks his son in the leg, breaks his leg. Now the farmer's got to do all the work himself. David comes back and says, that has got to be the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Farmer says, we'll see. 2 weeks later, the army comes to his small village, taking all the young men off the war. They can't take his son. He's got to work at night.
Wow.
You never know.
Huh.
I mean, really, how many times has that happened to you, that something that's the worst thing that's ever happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe this, and 6 months later you're going, thank God I'm not still dating that chick. When I got divorced, I was divorced once before, and when that happened, I thought that was the worst thing. Low point in my life, that was it, I failed, I couldn't even, and she was a pretty nice woman, it just didn't work out, and I just thought it was never going to be any better. But I had a good friend there that helped me through it, and what's really weird is I wound up meeting my wife because I was married to Cindy.
Wow.
If I had never been married to Cindy, I never would have met Diana. How many times has that happened to you? Like some little tiny thing?
Happens, yeah.
Have you ever looked back at your life and said, if it wasn't for this one little thing, just a night, what's yours? You're going like this, yes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just everything from if someone happened and me and my husband were separated, but then we got back together, and then I wouldn't have my child.
And who saw that
I
coming,
wouldn't
right?
have the child I have. I mean, I might have had a baby with someone else,
Right.
but I wouldn't have the child I have right now.
Right. Oh, that's awesome.
Have you ever had something where a second later, a minute later, 30 seconds later, things would have been completely different? How many times have you almost got in an accident and you missed it by a half a second?
Half a second.
That's the one that kills me. I always remember being down in Miami in college, being stupid drunk college boys and stuff, going to meet girls down at Barter Fashion College, and I came walking out. There's a row of vans on the curb there, and very busy street, and I came walking out without looking, and I took a step like this, and I mean a van passed within about 6 inches of my face. And if I had been a half a step earlier, that would have been it.
Wow.
You just think the things that happen to you in life like that, right? You're laughing at me? You're laughing at me? But wait a minute, a friend was telling me a story about how she was supposed to go to Europe and got sick, got the flu, couldn't go, and her mother said, look, why don't you go to your cousin's house over in Michigan? Oh, okay. It was like one of the vacations, like, the holidays, Thanksgiving, something. So she goes over there, and she gets there, she's still sick, and everybody's going out for a great time. She can't go with them. She says, I'm just going to stay here, I'll watch TV. Everybody leaves, and 30 minutes later, the door, somebody knocks at the door, and it's somebody that was supposed to go with them and got there late and missed the party, and they started talking. 3 months later, they were married.
Oh,
Married for 30 years.
That's awesome.
I mean, how many things could have gone different with that scenario, where she would have been in Europe, or she would have gone out with the friends, or she would have done something else and not met that person.
Right.
Because even if she'd gone out with other friends, they might have been at the big long table, or she might have been at that end, he might have been at this end, they never talked.
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't that weird like that? I just love stuff like that. Have you ever looked back through your life and said, this is where I am now because this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did tell you my favorite story. I was telling you before that I met my wife through my ex-wife. But the story goes back before that because I was a really bad student in high school. I was like, solid C+. But in New York, you can't get into a major college with those kind of grades. You got to have, there's a general diploma and there's a regents diploma. And the regents are the smart kids going to college. In general, the guys that can keep bowling scores. And I just never applied myself. I was unfortunately one of those kids that was smart enough to be able to pass all the tests without ever opening a book or doing any homework or anything. But, so I didn't apply myself, just skated by. Well, I went up going to school down at Miami-Dade Junior College because they'd accept anybody who could pass their 12th grade battery test, which was pretty easy. And in Florida, if you graduate from junior college, they have to let you into a senior institution and allow you to stay there as long as you keep at least a C average, which I was able to do. Right? Because I've got those skills. That's why I admire your son, wanting to do well, okay? But while I was at college, I met Cindy Lou, who was my wife. We got married, moved to Atlanta. She was a singer. And one night she's singing at this dive, this country dive down by the airport. And they invited this woman, Diane Pfeiffer, to come down and hear her sing. She was a singer-songwriter in Atlanta. And they were doing a medley of some of her songs. So they brought her down. They sat her at a table with her boyfriend of 6 years with my wife and myself. Well, at that time, I'm an amateur magician. Okay, and I would pretty much bore to death anybody that would sit there alone. Right? But this woman, Diane, is like the first person to actually believe it. Right? I'd make a coin vanish and she'd be like, oh my God, where did it go? Did it vanish? Or I'd find a card and I go, 3 of spades. Oh my God, he's reading my mind. Right, so we started talking. This was like mid-70s. Well, what did you talk about in the mid-70s? You know, what sign are you? So eventually it comes around to that. She goes, you know, what's your birthday? And I said, November. So really, mine too. She goes, what day? November 4th. That's my birthday too. I say, wow, interesting. Well, it turns out that my wife Cindy and her boyfriend have the same birthday.
Oh, wow.
So what's the chances of 4 people at one table sharing 2 birthdays? So that's it. The night ends. 8 years later, on our birthday, I'm performing at the Punch Line. And it's the first time I'm supposed to be the feature act. There's the MC that's got to do all the announcements, the grunt work and everything. There's the feature act who's on his way to being the star someday. And then there's the star, the headline. But I'm the feature act. This is it. No more stupid announcements, nothing. I get to go up there, and my sister just started dressing me up in nice clothes. I was wearing like really crappy clothes on stage. You need to class up your act and everything. Took me to a nice place, and got me nice clothes. This is just flipping out. So I get to the club. Well, the MC hasn't showed up yet. And they go, you need to go on stage and open up the show. I go, do I have to do the announcements? They go, of course, Justice, you got to do the announcements. So I get there. What turned out Diane, on her birthday, this guy that she was in love with, just had been treating him like crap, and she had a birthday party the day before, and said, he doesn't come over to my birthday party, that's it, it's over. I never want to see him again because he doesn't show up. Her girlfriend comes over the next day, and that night, and says, come on, I'm taking you out for your birthday. She goes, I don't want to go. She goes, come on, you got to go out. She goes, I'm not leaving the house. She goes, if you don't get out of that chair, I'm going to dress myself. I got tickets for us at the comedy club. We're going to go have a good time. She drags it. So I go out on stage. Waitress gives me a note saying, please announce it's Diane Pfeiffer's birthday. I'm going, that's got to be the same woman. That's kind of a strange name. So I go out on stage, and here's these 2 women sitting there, and a blonde and a brunette. I know it's not the brunette, so I'm thinking, because last time I saw her, she's like this little hippie chick. You know? I don't like to say the word chick a lot, but that's what she was back in the 70s, little hippie chick. And I'm going, that's blonde. I bet that's her. And I said, well, no, because my first thing that I do on stage is at the end of the first bit, I take a lit cigarette, put it in my hand, and it disappears. So sure enough, I take the cigarette, put it in my hand, boom, I open up, it's gone, and out loud in front of everybody, she goes, oh my God, where did it go? And I look at her, your name's Diane, listen. She goes, oh my God, it's reading my mind. And we went up talking after the show, and once she realized who I was, we talked about dating long distance for 4 years and getting married and moving to Atlanta. And my kids would always give me a hard time because they're straight A students, thanks to their mom, I guess. I take credit for that. But they would give me a hard time because I didn't do well in school. They'd find my old report cards and go, oh my God, Dad, a B? How'd you score that? You know, mine was always one that says, he shows great potential, but not living up to it. You know? So, you know, they give me a hard time. Well, you know, I'm much smarter than you were in high school. I said, yeah, young lady, you know what my history is, not being able to go to school in New York because I didn't get into school there, and having to go to Florida and meet Cindy through her meeting your mom and us getting married. And as I said, if you want to think about it that way, if I was a little smarter, you wouldn't be here today. And that's the truth, isn't it? I mean, really, because something that I did way back here and actually looked like a negative. Wasn't living up to my potential, having bad grades, doing all that stuff. Oh my God, there's never going to be anything. Let's send him to a junior college. Maybe he'll learn a trade, you know. So, and I wound up meeting one of my dreams. So, and having 2 great kids and a nice life. So, how do you know? You don't. All you got to do is just, the family, support them, love them, and just be there for them, right? No matter what they do, and don't try to force them into being what you want. Tell you, the greatest gift I ever got from my dad was I'd gotten divorced. I'm working in a magic shop in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's the Omni Hotel down there. It used to be an ice skating ring, and there was a magic shop that I could take both hands and touch both sides of it, and like this, and touch the front and the back. It was that small. And I would stand behind a counter like this all day long and do magic tricks for conventioneers and try to sell them into and buying them. And it actually wound up becoming, I was minority partners in it. It wound up becoming the largest chain of magic shops in the world. And I was fortunate, I was able to get out of it, right before I started making money. And not pay all this tax. So I got pretty good at doing the tricks and doing stuff. And actually, I was one of these people, I was terrified of speaking in public. I mean, I was one of those people that would just shake, actually got to the point of almost tears, getting up and talking in front of large groups. And I remember the first time I was at this magic desk, and I know you all hate doing readbacks, don't you? I was like, oh my God. By the way, if you hate doing that, join a Toastmasters club in your area, because they get you speaking a little bit at a time, you get used to it, so you're not so terrified of doing it, right? But I remember the first time I'm doing some tricks, my partner left me in the booth by myself, and I look up, and here's a crowd of like 10, 15 people wanting to be entertained. And like, Ken's not here, I got to do it myself, and I am shaking in my boots, and went out there, and I made it through the first trick, and people started laughing and applauding. I'm like, yeah. Not like people are going to laugh and applaud when you do readbacks, but it'd be nice, wouldn't it? So proud of you. But also, I started liking doing it, and people were like clapping and laughing at stuff that I'm saying. I'm like, oh my God, it's like a dream come true. Well, 6, 8 months later, my dad comes through Atlanta with my mom, and they stop there and they watch me do one of the presentations and stuff. And we go to get some coffee afterwards, and I think, oh boy, I'm going to hear it. Here I went through, college and marriage, divorce, and everything, and here I am doing tricks. Tricks in a mall, basically. Like, down, tricks in a mall. And finally, after a little bit, kind of quiet and stuff, I'm like, so Dad, what do you think? I'm just ready for both guns. And he just looks at me and goes, you look happy. I'm like, what? You look happy? And that was it.
Cool.
And I mean, I can't tell you how much stress just fell off me right then. Them not being judgmental, and that's all they care about. You're happy. Now, how many people can say that in life? Hey, my kid's happy. I'm happy. So think about that when you're dealing with your kids and with your family and stuff. Just like that's one of those moments that I will never ever forget. It's just that powerful. It was that life changing at that moment. But just that acceptance of like, wow, we just like who you are.
Right. And
yet I couldn't do it for my brother for another 20 years. So it's not always an instant change on both sides. What else do I want to talk to you about here? What are some other things? We only got through a few. What are some other things that cause you all stress? That you don't have any answers to, but maybe somebody else can come up with something. Yes?
Workload inconsistency. I'm either swamped or I have nothing.
Feast of family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same with us.
And I tell you what, I'm one of those squirrels that I just put my nuts away, and that didn't even sound right. Delete that from the videotape, okay? It just came out all wrong. There's no way to make that sound good. But I mean, my wife and I are both like that. My wife is heading into her busy season, and she will go nonstop for the next 3 months. And I mean, crazy nonstop. And this is when I do all my seminars and stuff, and we just, anything we don't need goes into the back. And because when it hits February, I don't have another court reporter program until the spring. My corporate jobs, kind of fall back around that time. I might have a couple of comedy workshops, the corporate thing, the comedy classes, but that's the money that we live on from there. That's all we can, and we know it's like that. And her business just dies in the springs except for weddings and stuff like that. So that's all you can do. It's just prepare. Just, you know, these are the good times. And I don't know how some people get to the point where it's like, all right, I'm making money. It's never going to end. Yes, it will. It's going to end in March like it always does, or it's going to end in the summer like it always does, or it's going to, and you got to put it away. You know, that's it. Just try to get that nest egg. We try to have at least 6 months worth of income sitting there that we can't touch. Nobody gets to touch that. No matter what it is, can't use that. Okay? And we try to do things to save money too. We don't ever buy a new car. I think the last new car I bought was 27 years ago. And it was so stupid because, you know, I bought the car for $22,000, left the car lot, and it was worth $16,000. That's like the worst investment I've ever made. And we buy, you know, I always tell people, I said, you know, I don't want to say I'm doing really well, but both my girls drive Lexuses.
They're 10 years old.
Yeah. They wish they were 13 years old. One's a 2001, which is 13 years old. The other was a 99 that I just bought for her with 173,000 miles on it because she wrecked her other car. But actually, the insurance paid for it and stuff. But we always buy used. My car, right now, I drive a 1998 Ford Expedition. And it's got 200-something thousand miles on it, and I will drive that baby until it disintegrates. I tell people, I don't sell cars, I bury them. Right? But we buy all of our cars used. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of money that you save doing that. I mean, I paid $15,000 for that car when it was 5 years old, 6 years old, and it was originally was $35,000. Had 50,000 miles on it, you know. And of course, sometimes you get the raw end of that deal. So you know, you got to go to some reputable place. But buying used, man. Oh, also, did I ever tell you about Clark Howard? You ought to write down his website, Clark Howard, ClarkHoward.com. He is like the world's greatest consumer advocate. If you ever want to know how to save money on anything, whether it's the mortgage on your house, buying a car, where you should put your money for your kids' college, paying off a loan, much you're going to need for retirement. You want airline deals, stuff like that. What's the best credit card for you to get? It's all on his website. It's all free. He doesn't use any sponsors at all. He's a multi-millionaire from his radio shows and stuff. And he doesn't allow he would not do a commercial for anybody, will not support anybody, you know, everything that he does is 100% just above board. And I mean, we've got some great deals. We've flown to Paris for $250 round trip.
Wow.
We were trying to figure out how we could have done this. Diane called me up the other day. I was on the road. She goes, Copenhagen's on sale for $310 a ticket, round trip. Wow. And we couldn't figure out a time when we could go. You had to get to New York first. And we had frequent flyer miles to get us to New York. But how can you not do that, right? So, I mean, they have like Friday flyers. A lot of times these deals are only good for 24 hours. And we've gone to Europe before. In fact, when we did the French deal, it was like she heard that in the afternoon and she bought those tickets by that night because they were gone. Wow. And it was like a one-time thing. And I said, you do realize I worked in the spring, and I wound up having to turn down 2 jobs. They were, of course, when we were going, but you know what? We had a vacation we always remember. Going through the Swiss Alps and Paris and everything.
Wow.
So that's part of that. We're not put on here to make a living, we're put here to create a life. So trying to slow down and enjoy that all the time. I mean, what are the memories you remember growing up? Are they the fun times you had with your family, relatives, things like that? Or were the times where everybody was stressed out and let's work more? You know? Well, probably both. You know, that's right. You can remember that kind of stuff. So, you know, stop getting annoyed and get funny. Now, why do people ruin your day? Wasn't that a lot of what Anita's message was? I had one for her that she always gets mad at me. I said, you know what the problem is? People aren't having a good time and not enjoying life, not making enough pee-pee. He's like, okay, Jeff, I'll bite. I said, you got to make play a priority. Right? You got to have fun in your life. Right? So real quick right now, everybody just pass these around to everybody. Just take one, or if you have a piece of paper you don't need it, some of these are stuck together. Pass those back, or just tear up a piece of paper. And what I want you to do is write down 3 or 4 things that you love to do, you get a lot of enjoyment out of doing, but you're not doing. Not things that you enjoy doing and you are doing, but things that you're finding reasons not to do and you enjoy doing. So write down 3 or 4 things. 3 or 4 things that you are not doing that you know you would enjoy doing or you used to like doing and you're not doing anymore for some reason. Not things that you enjoy and you are doing. Does that make sense? Somehow in my brain it makes sense. Just write it down. Get them on a piece of paper, unless you're afraid of the piece of paper. If I see them down there, I go, oh my God, I have to admit I'm not doing that. And it can be strange things. About 2 years ago, I took up shooting pistols. And I don't hunt, you know, I don't kill people. But I like target practice. And I joined a range, and I'd go down there, and I got myself, I was pretty good for myself. I was pretty happy with what I was doing. And then I let my membership lapse. And I would say, since it lapsed, I've been back once. And I really enjoy doing it. And the thing is, they actually even moved closer to my house. It used to be a truck. I had to go across Atlanta to go to the place. Now there's one, if I had to, I could walk there. Wouldn't want to walk there with a gun in my hand, you know. Just going to the range, officer. No. But it's that close, and for some reason, every single week, I find a reason why I don't have enough time to go. Or I don't find a reason to go. That's more important. And I enjoy it. Matter of fact, one of my buddies, we used to get together, you know, one Friday a month, or one Friday every 2 months, we'd go there, and there was a sandwich shop. We'd go to get these great big sandwiches and stuff. And when our wives couldn't see us eating them, you know. Have a good time, and you know, that's, why aren't I doing that? So does everybody have their list?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is something that somebody's got on their list and they're not doing?
Dating my husband. My husband and I no longer date. We've been married 15 years.
Isn't that one of the first things to go? We don't date anymore.
Every weekend, though, my intentions are good, but those darn deadlines, you know.
Those darn deadlines.
This is the weekend. Sorry, babe.
Well, and I'm sorry that I keep dragging my wife into this, but same thing with her. This is her busy thing where she is up to like 11 o'clock at night packing stuff, and she's up at 3 o'clock in the morning doing paperwork and doing more stuff. And finally, last Tuesday, my daughter and I grabbed her and took her to the movies. Go see Gone Girl, which I thought was going to be a chick flick. Oh my God. It's a freaky film. No, she's going, well, you like to go to those films where they shoot each other. Yeah, but they don't do that. But, and you know what? She resisted the whole way. She was, you know, I really should be home. I really should be home. You know, I'm gonna, and her famous phrase is, I'm going to pay for this tomorrow.
I am going to pay for it.
If I go on vacation, I'm going to pay for it for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
Well, what the heck? It's going to happen anyway, right? You were waiting for an answer from me, weren't you?
Yes, my life
Give me the
depends on
solution.
it.
But see, I'm a guy. Who has a solution for that? Ladies?
Make
So-
carve out time.
Do it.
Just have to do it.
Set up a time and a day that you will both get together and just know it's peaceful.
And don't have whatever priority.
But that'll be the day that I get that rush due. You know what I
Just
mean?
pay for it tomorrow.
I'll just pay for it. There you go. Okay.
What does your husband do?
He's a printer.
A printer?
Yes.
How about sending him something over to where he works? Asking him out on a date?
Okay.
You know, a card over there, something like that?
That's nice.
I mean, you really have to make time for it, don't you?
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other romantic suggestions?
I remember Sue, is it McDuffie? Sue?
Sue McDuffie?
I remember her saying one time, like, you know, you were talking about you have a rush and you got something else planned. She just said, look at your calendar. If you got something going on, tell them no.
Wow, I
It's
like
sometimes
that.
you just have to tell them no.
Yeah, telling them no. You know, that's what you're saying. You said sometimes you have to tell them no. Isn't that the big fear? You're shaking your head. I'll never work again.
Oh no, I told them no before.
Really?
You have told them no before.
Sorry, I've never plenty. Maybe I can do it Tuesday, I can't do it Monday.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You have that
driving
power.
myself crazy. Today, I got you.
Yeah. But you know, that's just it. You do have a power. You're a human being, and you do have some control over your life. And they go, we're going to have this. I can't. Really?
Okay.
Well, how many times do you find people give you false deadlines?
They do.
All the time.
I need that rough draft tomorrow. And we have a form that they need to sign, and I didn't have one with me, so I emailed it to her. And the next morning, after I'd done all the work on the rough draft, oh, I'm sorry, we don't want that.
Wow.
They wouldn't need that
So I
anymore.
spent, hours working on something that they decided they didn't want.
Wow.
Could you rush back from your vacation and get this for us on Monday? Oh, we settled. So you do have the power to say no.
Right, okay.
And it's terrifying sometimes.
I've never done it. I've never ever said
And you know
no.
why? That's
I'm
why they make you do it.
surprised. Unclenched.
Unclenched.
Okay.
I keep telling her to unclench.
Unclenched?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm clenched tight, honey.
That's just it. And what good is it doing you?
None. I'm driving myself crazy.
Exactly. You're not put on this earth to make a living. You're put here to create
A life.
a life.
Okay.
Can I ask one of our experts here? James? Do you think your life would have been better if you spent more time doing more transcripts and less time enjoying yourself? That's scary that you have to think about that. He's just messing with me, man.
I'm all confused in my head, like, wait a minute.
I just enjoy every day.
She does. And what is your email? Loving the law or a law lover?
That's my wife.
Your wife. Okay. Because she loves you.
Now, it's not a romantic thing.
Okay.
Her law office was on Lover's Lane.
Well, thanks for killing that story, dear. It had so much potential, because I'm looking at his email going, look, here's a court reporter. He just loves the law. That's why he's been doing this for 60 years. The guy just has this love of the law. Nothing to do with it. And again, being able to laugh at yourself, right? That's it. We all make complete fools out of ourselves, and just being able to laugh at ourselves for that. Because when you get stressed out about it, that's when it really starts causing those disastrous effects inside your body. So do you promise us you're going to say no?
I do. I will say no. I'm going to be the queen of no. Mom, you're cooking? No.
Could we have it right?
No.
And you know, my wife does that all the time. She goes, I'm not cooking today. Okay. Where's your beer? No, she'll just say, well, it's Saturday. I don't feel like that.
I don't feel
okay.
like
And she's really good cook, so that's kind of disappointing. She's never dumb enough to say, you cook tonight. Anything I want. What are the type of things that are causing you all stress? Anything else?
Deadlines.
Deadlines.
Yes.
But again, that's part of the job, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, when would those transcripts get in? When, if the lawyers just said, oh, wait, no, just get it when it's convenient for you. How about Christmas? Because it is. I mean, we do need deadlines. You know, I need the stress of a deadline to get a project done. Sometimes I think I need the stress of paying my bills just to go to work. I mean, be honest, how many people here, if you hit the big lotto Saturday night, would be at your job on Monday?
I would.
I don't mean just to clean your desk out. Hand one back up, two hands one back up. See, now I used to laugh.
I don't work as much, but I would.
Yeah. I would still work.
I used to laugh at people like that all the time because you read about them in the paper. They win like $50 million, $100 million, and they keep their day job. And then I thought about it. If I worked for some big corporation like IBM, Coca-Cola, something like that, hit the big lottery, I would definitely keep my job for a few days. Just to annoy everybody. Come cruising to work about 11:30. Wearing nothing but a Speedo and flip-flops. Jeff, you're late again. The boss is looking for you and he's mad. Ooh, I'm shaking. I had a woman come up to me after the program. She said, you know, if I won the lottery, I definitely wouldn't quit my job. But I would find out exactly what it would take to get fired. You're an evil one, aren't you? Yeah, deadlines, it's part of it. It's just, It'd be nice if it was. It's like traffic is part of it, isn't it?
Oh,
Yes.
What can you do? You can leave earlier, and sometimes that doesn't work. I mean, look at Anita. You know, she's getting here late anyway, 1 o'clock in the morning. Who would have thought there'd been a major accident and she doesn't get here to 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30? There's some things you just can't prevent. You ever have those nightmares you can't get there from here?
No.
Oh, that's all. I guess as a traveler, that's mine. Is that I'm here and all of a sudden I realize, oh my God, I got to be there, and there's no way to get there. Or you finally get there and all your stuff is back here, and I forgot to bring it with me. There's no chance. What's really weird is my daughter and I realized, my oldest daughter and I have the same one, which is it's the end of the school year, it's finals, and we've been cutting class all year long, and we don't even know where the class is. And like you're trying to figure out, you know, where the class is and stuff, and you know, it's not even the underwear in high school thing. It's I can't find my class. Anybody else have that?
I have one similar that I forgot that I had the class, and like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I have a final in there, and I haven't gone all semester.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. I've had jobs that I had ones where I dreamt I had a job that I forgot that I had. You know, it's like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be at this job 2 or 3 days a week. I've not been going in there. Well, I'll go in and see if anybody notices.
I have one that's similar. I have dreams where I'm at a job with my writer, but I'm trying to write everything down with a pencil.
Oh,
wow.
I didn't get it. I hope they don't ask me to read back because I'm not getting it. My writer's right next to me.
And you're acting like you have the same one.
I have that one. Crazy, like I would call my writer, like, oh, I'm not getting this, so I'll grab my pen and let's
So you're dreaming you're on your writer, then you grab a pen because you're not getting, which is so much faster. And you're dreaming that your machine's right next to you, the writer, and you're just deciding to write with the pencil. Praying they don't ask for read back. But it's funny, anybody else have job-related nightmares? No? Well, I think all those things show that we have stress in our lives, okay? Because stress comes out in so many different ways. It is manageable to a certain extent. And, you know, the thing is, it's tough to say no.
Yes.
You know, it's like, you want to take care of everybody else's problems, I'm in charge of taking care of everything, you know. I had a woman one time that took our class in Atlanta. And for some reason, the two of us weren't hitting it off right. I needed her to do something. She was just bucking me the whole way. I was like, oh, okay, just sit in the back with her. And during the break, the woman next to her comes up, and she's got this drawing. And it's of me, and it's a pen and ink drawing. What do you people say, pen and ink? It's like pen and flounder juice drawing. It's an ink drawing of me, and it is great. I mean, she was just doing a sketch back there. She wasn't even paying attention. She was just like doing that, like doodling and stuff. So when everybody came back from the break, I held up the picture. I said, let me just ask you this. The person that drew this, are they a court reporter or an artist? And everybody's going, oh, they're an artist. And she's in the back room actually covering her head going, no, no, I'm not, and that's not what I do. I'm not an artist. And I was talking to her later on. She said that she actually at one time had gotten a job with an ad agency as an art director up in New York City. It was incredible. They were paying her great money. She was loving it. And she quit it because she was enjoying herself too much. And she felt guilty for it and moved back to Georgia to take care of everybody's problems. She goes, I'm always taking care of mom's problems here, my sister there, and this, that. And I never, ever take care of mine because I'm juggling everybody else. And 6 months later, I got a message from her saying, I just want you to know I'm still court reporting. She goes, but I went back to painting, which is what I loved. And she said, I just finished a painting of my niece that passed away last year, and I got to tell you, I love it. And just thanks, I'm back doing what I enjoy. So who else? We only have one person. Who else has stuff that they're not doing that they know they would enjoy doing? Just raise your hand. Yes.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, I guess playing tennis. I used to play tennis a lot, but...
And why don't you play tennis anymore?
Just because my kids have... I used to play on a Saturday team, and my kids have a lot of stuff going on Saturdays, and...
Those kids will eat up a Saturday. They will. I've been through the whole thing. Soccer, plays, music, violin lessons, you name it. And so can you only play on Saturday?
Well, I could play on Monday, but then I wouldn't get any work done on Monday.
Oh, then you'd be like her.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotta say no.
So that's it, making play a priority. How much better would you feel about life in your week if you got to go play tennis on Monday? Not only would you feel good that you play tennis because you like to do it, the exercise, you'd feel better the next day, right? You know, it's going to make your circulation, everything work better because you took that hour or 2 hours, and you know what, the work's always going to be there. You're always going to have work. You're never, I mean, right now, I can't tell you how many projects that I have, you know, just in putting all this video online. I mean, I've got like 30 hours worth of stuff to go through, plus all the applications and stuff, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't get done. It should, and it's like, I mean, I don't have deadlines of like lawyers saying it, but I have 3 speakers that are saying, Jeff, by the way, when are you going to get those online so we can make some money? But I'm doing them, but I mean, I just, there's sometimes I go, you know what? I've got to go do something else. I'm also a napper too. Is anybody here a napper?
Oh, yes.
You're a court reporter and you're a napper? You should be ashamed of yourself. Take care of yourself like that. I take power naps, like 15 to 18, 20 minutes at the most. I sit there, I set my alarm clock, I lay back in my chair, I got a pillow, and I got it to the point I can pass out in about 3 to 4 minutes, just relaxing my body, and I'm out for maybe 12 minutes, 13 minutes, and sometimes I'll have to call my wife downstairs and take the phone off the hook. Don't call me for 20 minutes, I'll be done. And boy, I wake up, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go, otherwise I'm just... Napping's cheating. Nobody else is napping. Why should I be able to nap? They also proved that it's a great health benefit for you too. Anybody else not doing something? Come on, you're all writing like crazy. What'd you put on your list?
Me?
No, I'm cross-eyed, I'm looking at her. I'm sorry, that's my old comedy club day is coming out. I apologize for that. I didn't mean to heckle my audience.
Well, now that you brought it up, napping sounds good.
Sounds like a good thing. I would be doing that. But I actually had one person that would actually, they were an executive, and they would put on their calendar with their secretary appointments that they had with people, phone appointments that were napping time. Wow. I'm talking to Bob Smith from 4:45 to 5 o'clock, and don't bother me. Wow. Yeah? So if you get what we're saying here between Anita and I guess really kind of all of us here, is really, let's put some focus back on you and your life. And I know you have families and you have responsibilities, so then, but some of that time's got to be for you. And the only way to stop stress in your life is to take care of some of the things that are causing you stress. And it's the little ones that add up over a long period of time that do the damage. Not the one big stress, oh, that happened. It's usually the little tiny things that just keep eating away at you. That's how most marriages fall apart, isn't it? It's a little thing, people don't talk, they don't communicate, and all of a sudden it explodes, as opposed to people taking things a little at a time. So once again, I want to thank you all for coming, being part of our program here. A lot of you and a lot of Texas court reporters have never seen Anita before, so please do me a favor. If you loved her, tell your friends about her. We're going to have her online. She's going to have, I think, 8 hours worth of stuff online with us by the end of the year for people that want to stay home. And she will have new programs next time. You can get your credits and come see us. Okay? Well, there you go. You're done. How easy was that? I hope you had a great time taking this program. Now you have a few more CEUs to add to your CEU bucket there. Now remember, if you're taking one of our longer courses, please wait until you finish all the seminars before you send us your answers. And please try to, if you're going to put them in an email, copy them in one straight vertical line, separated by the different course titles. And that makes it easy for me to grade, makes it go a lot faster, and I don't make any mistakes. Well, not so much. Okay. And also, you can scan them in order and send them to me as well. Remember, we're always putting new content up here. Every year, we will have at least 4 to 10 more hours worth of CEUs that you can get here from the comfort of your home. So if you know more court reporters that would like to get their credits that way, please let them know about it. And remember, your home for CEUs online, Jeff Justice Seminars, where you can get your CEUs online anytime.